Island of Corsica, birthplace of the Emperor Napoleon and home to round 3 of the World Rally Championship. Thousands of twists and turns make the first dry asphalt event of the season a particularly tough test of man and machine. The island lies to the south of the French mainland, around 100 kilometres east of the Italian coastline. Much smaller than its near neighbour Sardinia, Corsica's mountains play host to the rally's 16 stages, spread out over 3 days, and centred around a single service park on the outskirts of the capital, Ajaccio. This rally has a reputation for cruelly punishing even the smallest error. Colin McRae was lucky to escape a huge accident here 2 years ago. While Tommy Mackinnon's regular co-driver Risto Manasenmaki is still recovering from injuries he received in this crash last October. No such problems on day 1 this year, which was dominated by Persia. Gilles Vanizzi was quickest on 4 of the 5 stages and led at the end of the day, while Marcus Cropper set the fastest time for the other, in 2nd place, with the reigning world champion Richard Burns 3rd. Subaru's Tommy Mackinnon ended the day in 4th place, lost a few seconds on the 1st stage for a very unusual reason.
The hairpin was our last note, and I thought now it is end of the stage, and I couldn't see anything. I wonder what is going on.
His teammate Peter Solberg looked to be the only driver able to threaten the Peugeots until he made a slight mistake on stage 4. 50 seconds lost meant Solberg would end the day in 6th place. The day's last stage was run in heavy rain, and so the 14 were able to claw back some of the time they lost in the drive. Harold Sainz headed their challenge in 5th place. But there was no denying who was the star of the day.
Fantastic day for me, and for Peugeot also, because I think 3 cars in the first position, it's good.
After the first day, Panizzi's lead might have only been 3 seconds, but Peugeots occupied all of the top 3 places. Subaru and Ford drivers knew their Pirelli tyres would work better in the rain than in the sunshine, and so went to bed praying for a crown burst. It looked as though their prayers had been answered when they arrived at the first service area of day 2. Tyre choice would be critical. Would the day's long first stage remain damp, or would those clouds deliver their threatened downpour? While the Pirelli technicians were hard at work at both Ford and Subaru, their Michelin counterparts were offering their advice to Peugeot.
Don't make the choice
according to them.
According to them. Make the choice you have in your head.
We get some more area here.
The choice, it seemed, was clear. A slick tyre if you thought the rain would hold off, an intermediate pattern if you thought it wouldn't. In practice, though, the decision was far from simple.
It's not so easy we can make easily right choice or easily wrong choice. It is very difficult.
I think my choice is the mixed tires. Little bit for rain.
I've no idea. I don't know what the forecast is. There's some light rain maybe, but is it enough to take a rain tire? I don't know.
In the end, Grönholm went for an intermediate, as did Panizzi, Mackinnon and Solberg. A last-minute panic suggested a change of heart by Burns, who joined McRae and Sainz on slicks with an extra cut around the circumference of the tyre.
What is very important when it's wet, the car and the driver are more important than the tyre. When it's dry, the tires make a big difference.
We wouldn't have long to wait to see just who was right. Seven stages made up day 2, with a repeat of the rally's longest to start. A batch of 3 shorter stages would then be repeated, a total of 150 kilometres in all. The weather, though, would be the day's main talking point. The clouds clouds covering the mountaintops certainly looked as though the predicted rain wasn't far away. The top 15 A-seeded drivers run in reverse order on days 2 and 3 this year, so Hyundai's Armin Schwarz was one of the first to find out just how slippery the damp tarmac was. Kenneth Eriksson and co-driver Tina Turner also fell foul of the same corner. Ford's 21-year-old Belgian sensation Francois Duval showed his teammates just how it should be done. His was the fastest of all 4 Ford Focuses, 5th on stage 6 and by now 10th overall. Philippe Bugalski's position on the road on day 1, plus an exhaust problem, meant that his second was well over a minute down on Peugeot's slip draw. He was 4th fastest on stage 6, however, so his charge up the leaderboard was underway. The tyres to have in quickly became clear were intermediates, not the cut slips that McRae had chosen. 10th fastest on the stage, McRae and co-driver Nicky Grist had taken advantage of the rain and dropped a place to 8th. Petter Solberg's tyre choice, on the other hand, was perfect. He was fastest, his achievement accompanied by the rhythmic voice of Phil Mills.
4 right, opens 50, 5 left, 40, 4 right minus half long, tightens 3, slippy maybe, opens 60, slippy braking, 6 right plus of a bump 30, 1 left plus, slippy, half long, opens 30, 4 right plus, opens 50, half 3 right plus, tightens, into 3 left plus, opens 40, line into half 4 right, 60, slippy maybe 3 right plus, opens long, keep in 30 slippy entries, 1 left plus fast.
Solberg was particularly pleased to win the long stage 6, even if he seemed a little surprised at the finish.
It's very good, no problem at all. Just very, very slippery sometimes. Correct tyre choice. Okay, yeah.
Carlos Sainz, 9th fastest, dropped from 5th to 6th behind Solberg, thanks to his decision to take a slick tyre on the stage.
Para izquierda rápido José Estarrás, con fe, para 1, derecha buena más, ras, sucia, para 1, izquierda buena más, poco tarde, acaba caliente de tierra, abrirse 1.
Tommy Mäkinen, like his teammate, had also opted for intermediates and also took over 30 seconds off Sainz. The Subaru 1-2 also meant that Peugeot no longer held all 3 of the podium positions.
Oikee aukee, heti jatkuu oikee, 4 huomio, pitkä oikee, miinus, tiukka sumppu, 4, servo vasen.
Richard Burns was another who was kicking himself for that late change of heart. The 7th quickest, he and co-driver Robert Reed dropped from 3rd to 4th on the leaderboard.
20 K-Lave minus low to K-Lave 50 feature right plus tighten side right minus tight maybe 20.
Marcus Grönholm and Timo Rautiainen fared a little better, but not much. The pair were only 6th fastest.
8, oikee eri sumppuun, oikee täys ja vasen täys, 8, vasen hidas silta.
Best of the Peugeots was Gilles Panizzi, 3rd behind the 2 Subarus.
50 mètres, droite à fond bref.
Despite being slowed at the end of the stage by a tyre which was almost off the wheel rim, Panizzi's lead was now back up to over 13 seconds once again. Gilles' 2 biggest fans, his wife and daughter, were at the end of the stage to wave their encouragement. So, for the first time, the Peugeot drivers didn't have things their own way. Mäkinen was now up to 3rd and Solberg up to 5th after stage 6. Behind the point-scoring places, Philippe Bugalski was now 7th, ahead of the Ford trio of McRae, Marco Martin and Francois Duval.
Petter, a great tyre choice there has given you your first stage win of the rally.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I was really looking forward to the rain now, and the car is working perfect. So yeah.
Colin, it seems to have gone from bad to worse this morning.
Yeah, it was. This was our chance to make up a bit of time. Sadly, it went the other way. It wasn't a disaster, but it still wasn't a good choice. We took a bit of a gamble, which, if the weather had stayed as it was, would have been the right tyre, but unfortunately it started to rain on the way up to the stage, so we just spent the whole stage trying to keep heating the tyre.
Richard, you're not looking too happy. Wrong tyre choice.
No, not really. No, we only lost 2 seconds to Marcus, who was on the intermediate. We were on quite a heavily cut slick, and it was quite soft, so it wasn't really the wrong tyre.
Tommy, 3rd overall now. Great tyre choice on the last stage.
Yes, it was very good. We chose normal slick tyre, which we were open a little bit, and it was working very well.
Sometimes the road was not clean, and maybe a rock, or I don't know exactly. But it was in the end of the stage. It was difficult for me to turn in the left corner.
On the way to stage 7, the team radios discussed just one topic.
Mark, give me another update, please. We're over stage 7 at the moment, and we've got light rain here. The road looks damp, a little bit shiny on 7.
Carlos, it's still very, very light drizzle, very, very light rain, and the surface is still damp to humid, okay?
The road surface was indeed damp to humid, but the rain had stopped. Freddie Loix was the quicker of the 2 remaining Hyundai drivers, 8th fastest, but still 16th overall. Colin McRae fared much better on stage 7, 2nd fastest, and must have been cursing his earlier tyre decision. Still 8th, the Focus was now exactly 10 seconds behind Bugalski's Citroën Zara.
6 left over crest, 150. 6 right and 6 right, tightened to long 4+.
This time it was Solberg's turn to choose the wrong tyre. Only 9th fastest thanks to 2 softer rubber compound. He must have hoped they would work on the next pair of stages which followed.
Line into short 4, right plus, opens 40, tighten short 3, don't cut. Keep straight over 60, 6 right into flat 5 left, slippy maybe, 80, short 5 right, open 60.
Carlos Sainz took a gamble on slick tyres, and that looked to have cost precious seconds. 7th fastest on the stage, Bugalski was now just over 4 seconds behind.
Para izquierda cae en cuarta, Bogotá se cierra Rasfin. Para derecha buena más corta, 1.
The majority of drivers had opted for intermediate tyres. They'd worked brilliantly for Mäkinen on the previous stage, and he went with a similar choice for this one.
Ja oikee, sumppu heti oikasen vasen urassa, 10 huomio, pirun pitkä oikee nopea, kirraa pahasti. Lyhyt, helppo oikee plus 4.
On this occasion, however, all 3 Peugeots and McRae's Ford went faster than the Subaru. Richard Burns took over a 2.5 off Mäkinen through the 10-kilometre stage, moving to within 7.5 seconds of retaking 3rd place. Marcus Greenholm was just half a second quicker than his still learning new teammate, but more importantly, the Peugeot domination of the rally looked to be back on track after losing its way a little in the rain of the day's opening stage. Normal service had indeed resumed. Fastest on the stage was the 2:06 of Gilles and Hervé Panizzi, the pair setting their 5th fastest time from 7 stages.
Sur droite 95. Dans gauche, droite 95. Donc gauche à fond, pleine corde. Droite 95 de long.
Stage 8 would be rerun later in the day as Stage 11. The 18 kilometres of snaking tarmac started in the village of Vero. The first 7 kilometres or so climbed to around 900 metres above sea level at the stage's highest point, before the gradual descent into the valley on the other side, and the stage finish in Pont d'Azzana. Low cloud meant visibility at the summit was down to around 30 metres. For the second stage in a row, the four drivers took full advantage of the conditions. Colin McRae, fourth fastest.
And long 3 rights plus and 3 left tightens over narrow bridge. 30, right keep out and 3 rights plus. And 6 left tightens.
But again, the two Subarus were let down by the tyre choice. Peter Solberg only 9th quickest. Carlos Sainz and Luis Moya was second fastest.
Para izquierda rápido, ojos de tierra poco, para derecha rápido, ojo corta de tierra, acaba derecha, acaba posible cuarta de tierra y se abre, abrirse.
The Spaniards were now less than 10 seconds behind Solberg and looked set to snatch his 5th place on the next stage. Tommy Mäkinen and Kai Lindstrom looked to have been quick off the start line, but they quickly began to lose time soon afterwards. We'll be looking in greater detail at the start in a minute or so.
Pitkä helppo oikee, 7, pitkä serpo vasen, kirraa ihan vähän. Ja pitkä oikee miinus tiukka.
100 fast lane for showing the entire video from Richard Burns' car away from the start. Even though the Englishman was only 3rd fastest on the stage, again, already explained.
Right max to flat right 70, K left long, 10 K left minus. To slow K left 20, medium right.
For the second stage in a row, it was Burns' teammate Gilles Panizzi who was fastest, extending his lead to over 26 seconds.
Droite 95 long long. Gauche 90 long. 60 mètres. Droite ferme 90. À la maison. Gauche à fond. Dans droite 95 presque plus. Gauche 95 long soulage. Sur droite 95 long soulage.
This is where the virtual spectator system really comes into its own. If we look at the first 45 seconds or so of stage 8 and compare the performances of 4 cars off the start line, we can see exactly where drivers make up, or more importantly, lose time. Our 4 drivers in this case are Panizzi, Burns, Sainz and Mäkinen, and up to the first hairpin there's nothing to separate the 4, but just look at the blue car. Mäkinen hasn't got the same amount of grip as the others and starts to lag behind. Accelerating away, they're again hard to split, but the same thing happens again away from this long open hairpin, and again on the 90-degree left-hander which follows. Burns is actually the quickest over the opening kilometre, with Panizzi just ahead of Sainz and Mäkinen already starting to drop back. Stage 9 was the third and final stage in the batch of 3, so the Subarus would soon be able to change their tyres. Grip, however, wasn't the cause of the problem for Freddie Loix in the Hyundai. Stalling the accent cost precious seconds, but Loix was languishing down in 15th place in any case. Solberg's rally, meanwhile, was about to go from bad to worse.
Opens to 40, line into 3 left minus, tightens half long, and line into 2 right plus half long. No, puncture. Tighten slippy gravel, 1 plus.
The puncture meant Petter was only 13th fastest and dropped to 7th place behind Bugalski as a result.
Line into 4 left long, tighten slippy 2, extra long.
Mäkinen again lost time to the Peugeots and Fords, and like his colleague, had also dropped a place on the leaderboard. The 4-time world champion was now 4th. After gaining around 23 seconds from Richard Burns on the day's opening stage, Mäkinen had lost 21 on the next 3, and so was now right back where he'd started. To Burns' delight, it was the number 1 Peugeot which set the fastest time on stage 9, his first stage win for his new team.
And easy left, 20 flat right cut, to flat left opens 40, slightly braking 60, fast left minus long, and fast left 50, fast left plus 30 braking medium left, plus 20 braking medium right plus, and medium right minus 8, 20 fast left, 10 medium right plus cut, sand, 60 left max, 60 braking, slight left 50, flat left 60, medium left plus, and medium left plus, long, to flat left 20, medium right, tightens in, 10 medium left plus, 20, medium right, long, to easy left, open, 40, K right bus and K right, 40, flat left, braking and flat left, 40, medium left.
The look on the driver's face suggests he couldn't have gone much quicker even if he wanted to. Nearly 4 seconds slower than Burns was Pinazzi, complaining that he'd had brake problems for the last 10 kilometres, while Bromley had driven cautiously and was only 6th fastest. No matter, it was an all-Peugeot top 3 once again.
Tommy, you lost quite a lot of time on the last 3 stages. What happened there?
We changed our tyre after first stage. We had very good performance, and then we went to the different tyre, which was different construction, and it changed completely car balance.
Petter, you've now dropped out of the points. What happened on the last stage?
Well, unfortunately we took a little bit too soft tyre, but that's not the main problem. We had a puncture on the last stage. I thought it was a suspension, but it was a puncture.
Richard, you talked about getting that confidence yesterday. You've just won the last stage. Not bad.
No, it was really good. Just a good clean run. I pushed quite hard through it. I know the stage quite well, and really, I mean, the tyres, the car, everything just worked really well all the way through. We had to be a little bit careful in the end because the brake pedal was getting quite soft. The brakes were overheating, and the pedal was nearly to the floor. So we're a little bit careful in the end, but apart from that, it was good.
Stages 10, 11 and 12 were repeats of the previous 3, but this time the skies had opened. Armin Schwarz saw no repeat of his earlier spin. In fact, his Hyundai was fifth fastest on stage 10. By now sporting a new set of tyres, Solberg stormed through the stage, setting the quickest time, his second stage win of the day. But the news wasn't all good for Subaru. On the same tyres as Solberg, Mäkinen should have been equally as quick. He was, up to a point.
Pitkä vasen nopea miinus. Heti. Lyhyt oikea nopea aukeaa heti. Ja oikea 3 pitkä vasen nopea. Ja oikea täys 3. Spoori pitkä oikea eri 3. Tarkasti spoori pirun pitkä K oikea. Vähän helppo sumppu. 7.
Caught out by excess water on the road, this was Mäkinen's second retirement in as many rallies.
Our information was a little bit more dry what it was, and so we came out from the right corner into the 50 meters straight, and then again to the right corner. It was suddenly full of water, this straight, and we kept on aquaplan, and there was nothing to do anymore. It just slide off.
Choosing the tyres at the moment is really difficult. You're compromising, trying to judge what the weather's going to do over a long period of time, and I think overall it was probably a good tyre choice, but he was caught out by one heavy downpour, and that's the way it goes.
And so to the day's last pair of stages. After only being 14th quickest on 10, the changing conditions meant Colin McRae was second fastest on both stages 11 and 12. Solberg, however, wouldn't be so fortunate. Another puncture on stage 12 cost the Norwegian around 30 seconds.
120. Line into 4 right plus, tightens over bridge. Into 5 left minus extra long, opens, and line into don't cut 4 right.
Day 2 ended in the same way as day 1, a Peugeot 123. Burns' stage win wasn't repeated, but he'll start the final day in 3rd place. No stage wins today for Marcus Grönholm, but he's happy enough tonight, 2nd place behind Pinizzi. The Frenchman was fastest on both the last 2 stages, and so returned to Ajaccio with a lead of over 41 seconds. 4 more stages are now all that stand between Pinizzi and his 2nd win here in 3 years. This is how the leaderboard stands after 12 of the event's 16 stages. Peugeot were poised to pick up the maximum 16 manufacturer points. Just over 20 seconds separate 4th, 5th and 6th places, while Solberg will start the final day determined to take some points home from Corsica.
Richard, the end of another good day for you. Can you and will you be allowed to catch Marcus Gronholm tomorrow?
I don't know about being allowed. You know, with 3 cars in the top 3, I'm sure Peugeot, they want to keep that, but also there's only 2 of us can score points for manufacturers, so I think it's open. We can, as far as I know, do what we want to do.
Do you think Richard then is going to be fast out of the blocks? He's going to try and catch you first thing?
I don't know. Maybe yes, he will try. Of course, it's not so much to get. So let's see.
The rally is difficult, and I continue to push for keep the good concentration. And the car is fantastic.
So Tommy Mäkinen will play no part in what promises to be a thrilling final day of the Rally of France. Gilles Panizzi, meanwhile, will be hoping that he can avoid a similar fate from the island of Corsica. Good night.